Hello again. Between our trip to Singapore and Japan, we had maybe a day. So I went with my aunts and my brother to the cemetery where our family is buried. And before Mass, we were trying to find my paternal grandma, my Banoy. She passed away a few years ago, and since none of us have been back since she passed away, just my dad, we didn't know where her grave site was. So we were trying really hard to look for her. And my brother, we're in the cemetery, there's a lot of people because there's Mass about to start. He's like, Banoy ay! Banoy ay! My aunts were like, are you crazy? But they were laughing, and we did eventually find her, so I guess it worked. When we got home, we had to pack because we were heading to Japan. First things first, of course, we exchanged some money, and then we also got a travel pass. And we decided to get the 3-day Kansai through pass. And like the Singapore transit pass, it gave us 3 days of unlimited travel, but not on the Japan Rail. And I think we got discounts on attractions to certain places, but we didn't really look into it that much. We also got Ikoka cards. I don't have mine because you get a refund if you return it, but it was this cute little metal penguin card thing that you could put money on, use for transit, and also use it at vending machines and convenience stores. We headed to the hotel, but we couldn't check in yet because, mind you, our flight was at 1 a.m. We got there at maybe 8 in the morning. So we did drop off our luggage, and then we headed back to the train station. We had really good food. And that's one of the things I love about Japan is the train stations. There's always a mall, and there's always amazing food. Plenty of variety, and it's high quality. We went to this little ramen shop. It's the kind where you pay at the little vending machine thing, and you get your ticket and give it to the cook. They get your food out pretty quickly. It was super satisfying. I dream about it sometimes still. After we ate, we headed upstairs to the mall. There were so many floors with so many different things. After we explored the cookie shop and all the different stores, we headed back to the hotel and took a nap because that evening we had tickets to go to Haruka's 300, which is the tallest building in Japan. It's only 300 meters, but you know, I bought tickets online, and there was a package deal where if you go to Haruka's 300 before you go to Universal Studios, they give you the early entry wristband for Universal, and you can go in like I think 45 minutes earlier than the open time. So worth it. Anyway, we watched the sunset and looked at the night view. Next morning, we got okonomiyaki at the station where we had the ramen. We also got yakisoba. But funny thing, while I was in Japan, I was trying to use the Google Lens, which translates in real time. It works sometimes, but it came up with some pretty weird translations. After eating breakfast, we headed over to Arashiyama and the temple. It was super crowded. It was really hard to get any good pictures or really enjoy it because there are so many people. One good thing is that I did get the best matcha ice cream I've ever had, and I'm really sad I didn't get more while I was in Kyoto, but it is what it is, you know? We were going to head to Fushimi Inari, but at that point it was like 4 or 5, and we wanted to go to Nishiki Market, and that closes at 6. We didn't really eat anything because you can't walk and eat. We just wanted to take a look around. We headed back for the night. I'm pretty sure we stopped by Family Mart because the next day, Universal Studios Japan. It was a little confusing getting there, and I'm really surprised we didn't get lost like throughout the entire trip. It is confusing, but if you just like really try to figure it out, you're good to go. We got to Universal, and like I said, we had early entry. We went in and we headed straight for Hogsmeade, and I kid you not, when I saw Hogwarts, I legit started tearing up. And that sounds so lame. Like, I knew I loved Harry Potter because I've read the series more than a dozen times. I've watched the movies a lot. Like, whenever it's on TV, I'm watching Harry Potter. I watched the musical and the other book. I wrote a song about Harry Potter. Regardless of how problematic J.K. Rowling is now, what she created, it was so near and dear to my heart. So yeah, I cried. So what? Yeah, I loved it. And Butterbeer was fantastic. I don't remember what the rides were called anymore. We rode the Hogwarts ride twice and also the Hippogriff ride twice. And then after we finished up with Hogsmeade, we made a loop around the rest of Universal, like doing Jaws, Jurassic Park rides. The lines were getting longer and longer, so after we had lunch, we didn't really want to stay like the rest of the night. So we headed over to the Osaka Aquarium. But it was a really big aquarium. We spent a few hours there. After that, we headed back, and the next day I met up with somebody I met at Prince Bay Farm in North Carolina, Kana. We planned to eat takoyaki, but since I've had it before, she introduced me to kushikatsu, which is fried skewers dipped in a sauce. Beef, lotus, onion, seafood. It was pretty good, but I did leave smelling like fried food. After that, we got cute matcha tiramisus. Very aesthetic, very tasty. Kana also got me the Doraemon food with the red bean inside the pancakes. Those are super tasty. Thanks, Kana. So I brought back food for my brother, and then we headed finally to Fushimi Inari. It was very, very crowded. Beautiful, but very crowded. We were going to try and make our way up around the whole trail, but the sun was setting and I'm very clumsy, so we decided not to risk that. We got really good takoyaki. After that, we went to an electronics store. I finally got a soft camera bag for my camera, and my brother found things for the library for work. He runs the digital memory lab. So you can go into the San Diego Central Library downtown, and I think there's another branch in San Diego County that has it. But you can make an appointment, bring in your old VHS tapes, cassettes, things like that, and digitize them so that you have them in another format. Yeah, so we got stuff for that. And the next day we headed back to Kyoto, and we visited another electronics store. We decided to skip breakfast because we thought we could just eat there, and that was a mistake because I got super hangry. And I feel really bad for my brother. I did tell him sorry after, but when I'm hangry, I cannot think, I cannot make any decisions. I just want food. So when we sat down and had ramen, that was the best ramen I've ever had. Usually I don't like ramen. It's just because I haven't had good ramen. Stateside, it's usually very salty. I haven't really come across a place where I like ramen here. Sorry. And then after that, we went to a tea house, and I finally got hojicha. Hojicha is roasted green tea, so I got some tea so that I could ground it into powder so I could make lattes and macarons. And hopefully one day ice cream, because I cannot find hojicha ice cream here. Oh, I did find Haagen-Dazs a hojicha latte ice cream that Saina and Lisa introduced me to, and it was fantastic. So the tea house was a really nice experience. I think at first they were a little frantic because most of the workers didn't speak English, so they were scrambling to find somebody that could. And when they did, she walked us through how to brew our own teas. I got hojicha, and I forgot what she got. They serve it with a little dessert so you can drink your tea. I really liked that experience. Because of that, we were like, we should get a teapot. So we went to the mall and we bought a teapot for our tea. I was going to buy this tea grinder that was a lot cheaper there than it was on Amazon, but I figured I could just buy an electronic spice grinder, and that is eventually what I did. We're already at the end of our trip. So we packed, stopped by a Family Mart, and had our flight back to Vietnam the next morning. So we didn't stay long at home Tuda because in the following days we had a trip to northern Vietnam, and I will tell you about that later. Thanks for sticking around. I hope everything is cool with you, and I will catch you on the flip side.